this episode of the Weekender on CNBC-TV18, I travel to Bengaluru to meet and chat with Hina Nagarajan, the MD and CEO of Diageo India, listed as United Spirits. Hina took over in April 2021, in the heat of the pandemic, and since then, she's weathered the storms which are regulatory while plugging the gaps of her own internal portfolio and strengthening the balance sheet of the company. What does the future for United Spirits holds, and who is Hina as a person? We'll find out.
You started out in Nestle selling infant food. Thereafter, you went to working for lipsticks, and then you went to working for Reckitt, and now here. That move from selling things, liquids for infant, to selling liquids for adults, that's been quite a drastic one.
You know, I always joke and say I followed my life stages with every job.
That's
right?
true.
So when I had my kids, I was in the infant formula business. So, lots of like discounted baby food coming home. And then, when I was in my middle age, when I wanted cosmetics, I was with the lipstick company. And now I'm an empty nester with my husband. And guess what? We're in the alcohol industry. I have to say that, I'm kind of here to stay.
Okay, you're here to stay. Say that. But again, even before that, you are an accidental MBA. How smart do you really have to be to crack the cat without having a plan to do so?
I think it was just meant to be, Mangalam. I can't really say. I hadn't prepared, very much. My brother was taking the CAT. I just took it with him for experience. So I was doing a full-time program in hotel management and my, commerce graduation at the same time. Fate, I think destiny.
That's exactly what all toppers say. I didn't study. I studied just for a month.
Destiny had it written for
me. We'll give you a lot more credit than you give to destiny out here. But talking about business itself, you said India brings 100 million new, legal age drinkers to the world every year. That's faster than anywhere else in the world right now. The youngest population, the demographic dividend for alcohol, all of that has been a story for the last decade or so. What it's looking like, and anecdotally, is yes, working. But in terms of numbers, the category has been growing even slower than something like hair oil. What's plaguing the growth? Why is it not showing in the numbers?
Look, I think what's happening is the volume end, which is the lower priced end, is slowing down. But what's really growing faster is the premium end, right? So premiumization is here to stay. And just like every other, FMCG company is experiencing, our industry is seeing that. And actually we are delighted because we do want people to drink better, not more. So that's why you see the industry looking slower on volume growth, but value looks much better, right? And that is where the future profit pool is going to lie. So if you just look at the demographic dividend that you were talking about, if you just look at, the new cohorts that are emerging, affluent, high net worth individuals, women as a cohort, if you look at the aspiration levels in boomtowns, I think we are estimating double-digit growth at the premium end for the next decade or so.
The next decade or so. And does that mean higher margins as well? Because mid-teens is what you've been talking about. Mathematically speaking, you can't go a lot beyond mid-teens, largely because a part of your portfolio is capped with the 10%. Does that happen? Or structurally they stay around the mid-teens or at best high teens?
So I think the reason, Mangalam, why we stuck to the mid to high teens is exactly this.
Right.
Like one of the things is the price regulation, right? And there is ongoing advocacy to, at least get us to an inflation-linked formula, right? I mean, even drugs get that, right? So we will continue that advocacy. In the absence of that, I think the mid to high teens is a very good goal to go for. And actually we look at EBITDA and ROIC because the portfolio is so complementary. One helps the EBITDA, one helps the ROIC.
Right.
And for us, that is a weatherproof portfolio.
What is your share of revenue between browns and whites? Is there a margin differential?
Look, the market itself is skewed to browns, right? So the market itself is 80-85% browns, and whites is a new phenomenon in the country. So our portfolio pretty much mirrors the market, right? But the whites portfolio is growing very fast. The whites category is growing quite fast in the country. They are also perceiving well-being benefits with the whites, compared to the browns or even beer, right? Lower calories and a lighter drink. And a lot of the young people, and you know that yourself, I mean, you belong to that cohort, right?
I belong to the teetotaler cohort too, which is why
I know, but a lot of people are choosing to really moderate their drinking, which we are very pleased about. Hopefully it will become...
What's the delta? How fast is...
25-30%. The whites are growing quite fast. So, it will become a larger part of the market, but the browns are not going away.
Recently, what happened in Karnataka? How much has that impacted your volumes?
It has impacted brand MRPs by about 5 to 17%,
right,
depending on where you are on the price ladder. It's coincided with the Shravan slowdown.
Right.
So very difficult to say how much pricing is playing a role and how much just the seasonality is playing a role. But in general, we would expect the volumes to slow down.
There is an Adhik Mas, which is 2 Shravans put together. So could that impact your second quarter volumes along with Karnataka?
It could. Difficult to say. It could impact. It normally does. But we also think the rebound will happen, in time for season. I mean, season is our peak selling period, right? So I expect that the rebound could come quite fast.
So that doesn't impact your full year guidance of double-digit revenue growth?
No, we are sticking to our guidance.
And a lot of state elections that we are going to see going forward as well in the next 18 months, and a central election coming by as well. With this policy, a lot of freebies coming in and then the alcohol industry being taxed for that, do you think there is a risk for this to become commonplace going forward as we go into many elections?
Look, Mangalam, elections are always very tough for our industry around the world.
Yeah.
Okay. But it is also business as usual for us. I mean, we go through elections every few years, right? The fact is that we are also very strong contributors to the state revenue. So there is a balance. I think the states recognize that, right? We know how to navigate these. And I think we just focus on what we can control, which is, catering to the consumer needs, giving them the best offerings, and, driving efficiency through our value chain to be able to fund, to grow our brands, and be able to deliver our guidance.
I was looking at some numbers, and a decade ago, tax as a proportion of your gross sales were around 55 to 65 odd %. A decade later, the incidence of tax has only increased from 55 to 65% to 75 to 85%. Do you think we're at the tipping point of the Laffer curve, so to say, in economics?
The fact is that I think we've reached a point where it has to stop, right? Otherwise, it will be unviable for any industry player to be able to invest and do business in the right manner, right? We also have enough modeling to show that beyond a certain point of taxation, the industry starts declining. I think the Karnataka government is probably going to sense that over the next few months, because we do expect slowdown. And we have seen, Mangalam, that, in COVID, a number of states, if you remember, had put that COVID tax. And the COVID cess led to major declines in industry, and then you saw the rollback, right, in the COVID cess. And hopefully that evidence will help us go forward and curb this, imbalance in the equation.
Let's hope that, things normalize there. But let's not take away from the positives of the regulatory environment as well. One is that the legal industry is gaining more traction. The second is that there is the likelihood of the UK-India free trade agreement. What have you heard on it, and what would be the benefit for you?
The impact is difficult to say, because it depends on how much duty reduction. It depends on the phasing of it. It also depends on, what happens with the state excise, in the light of this, because, I mean, that is a central reduction. It's a smaller part of the value chain. If the state governments did not try and make that up in some form or the other through other taxes, then we anticipate that the benefit could be 5 to 15%, depending on how much reduction happens on the MRP. And of course, it will be an impetus for volume gain. Indians are prolific travelers.
Yeah.
They see all these brands everywhere in the world. So, I mean, not having them available in India is not fair to the Indian
I completely agree with you. And being a teetotaler, I still see a lot of love for Indian whiskey around the world and in India itself.
That's one of the big moves we are making, right? So Godawan was launched as a first step to take Made in India to the rest of the world. And actually, we've rolled it out in New York, we've rolled it out in Dubai, and, it's going to Australia now. And people are just loving the Made in India.
Speaking about another positive aspect of the regulatory environment, Maharashtra, the duties were cut. What kind of consumer behavior did you see after that?
Definitely there was an increase in existing volumes. I mean, Maharashtra was one of the highest priced markets for, bottled in origin scotch, for instance, right? So the moment the duties came down, People just started buying from the state, which helps the state revenue and the state's coffers, right? So there was a volume uplift. There was a volume uplift of 10 to 15% at least. And actually that has happened state after state. So, Delhi prior to the route to market change had dropped volumes. We saw a huge increase in volume. West Bengal did the same. And we saw an uplift in volume there as well. And it actually is a win-win for both the industry and the government.
So what about Telangana? When do you expect a price hike coming out there? And when do you see your margins go back, gross margins go back to the 44-45%?
Right, Telangana is a bit of a balance. It's gone a bit up and down. I mean, we have again ongoing discussions with Telangana. I mean, really, I can't comment on when they will. But I'm hopeful because we have seen, as you said, we have seen positive progressive policy rollout in a number of states, right?
Where do you see raw material prices? Because ENA has been on an inflationary trend. This is just an additional pressure there. Glass is a seller's market.
I think the inflationary pressures will continue. What we are seeing, Mangalam, though, is that last year we saw double-digit inflation, right? This year we are seeing high single-digit inflation. I don't think it's going away in the short term. And ENA prices, as you rightly said, I think the EBP program goes on. Broken rice prices are on the rise. I think monsoon shortfall has not helped. So we continue to expect inflationary pressure there. So we, like I said, again, we are focused on what we know we have to do, which is really double down on productivity, on mix, revenue growth management, and continue to deliver the resilient margins that we've managed to do over the last couple of years.
The sense I get is it will be business as usual for you, irrespective of the regulatory environment. If there is a regulatory problem, then it will be for the industry. In that as well, you all would be best placed. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
All right. So let's talk about your own cost savings program and your productivity and innovation program. I remember you were looking at eliminating cartons and that would save you some money. You were looking at other cost cutting measures as well. How much is yet to play out?
Ask a CEO and they'll say we've got decades of cost savings ahead. We came with a legacy structure, right, from our acquisition times.
Yeah.
Right? We had 97 plants. We came down to 40 odd. Now we are on a journey where we announced the supply agility program last year, and our footprint is on an optimization, and we are going to reduce further, right? And then at the end of that program, we expect cost efficiencies of about 150 crores a year. Right? So there is still a lot of juice there. So we are extracting efficiency on our marketing spend. We have put in place digital tools for our commercial team, right? That helps them monitor trade spend and to optimize that state by state, SKU by SKU. So, and COGS. I mean, there is enough and more in our factories. And of course, we work on bigger initiatives, right? So grain indexed, contracts for ENA, right? Co-location to give us savings on logistics. In every part of the value chain, still lots of initiatives to pull out value. And our ambition always is, Mangalam, to be able to offset at least half the inflation through productivity. And if you look at our track record for the last 5-6 years, we've been doing that, and we expect to do that this year as well.
I remember you saying that you're pretty excited about Bailey's coming to India and the potential that Bailey's has, largely because of the sweet tooth that Indians have.
We were in a conference, I think it was only 2-3 weeks ago. And I was asking them, just tell me what is the size of only the organized desserts, the packaged desserts market in India. Can you guess that number?
Would be 27,000 crores or something?
It's going to be 27,000 crores in the next 5 years.
Yes, I remember doing that show on the chocolate market. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
27,000 crores. Bailey's is sitting right up there, right? Anything that is sweet, Bailey's is, that is the target market for Bailey's, right? So for me, Bailey's can be huge, Mangalam. I mean, I couldn't even hazard a guess of where this brand can go. We are starting. We brought more variants in. There's a strawberries and cream which has come in. There's a salted caramel Bailey's. By the way, I know you're a teetotaler, but you should try it.
These things are sounding pretty tempting.
They are very, very good, right? So we are starting that journey. And I do think that 5 years later, we would be saying that it is one of the leading brands in our portfolio. It's
a smooth highway with a few speed bumps or maybe traffic signals?
Yeah, definitely. I think we are now very much focused on the consumer and the journey. Future back lens, where is this market headed? What should we bring next? I mean, there are new exciting categories that we are testing, right? We are testing Guinness more and more popular. I mean, so many Indians travel to the UK, they've tasted Guinness there. So we are seeding it. It is working well. Tequila is a category which has just about started in India, right? It is gaining some traction, particularly in the metros. And this is a category that could go the gin way. We've got so much more exciting innovation, renovation to bring into this country. We are just focused on that. I mean, we are past, bulk of our legacy issues, right?
Are you looking at any inorganic opportunities right now?
We are scouting the market, Mangalam. There's nothing which is like active because there's not a whole lot in the market. And if we came across any such opportunity, we would definitely look at investing. But at the moment, I don't see that many.
You have around 8 brands which do 1 million cases annually, of which one does 25 million cases. What is your power brand strategy going forward?
We have largely, in the past we used to invest behind 18, 20 brands at a time, right? Clearly, we've come out of that. There are these 6, 7 big brands. We've got Signature, we've got Royal Challenge, we've got McDowell's, we've got Johnnie Walker Singleton, Talisker, and, 1 or 2 more will come. If Guinness starts scaling, then Guinness, Bailey's now. Yep. So I don't think we will be building beyond 7, 8 brands. And any renovation, innovation that we think of is absolutely relevant within these brands.
Are you making any advocacy to increasing the number of outlets in the country? Because you compare this industry with the other FMCG players, you guys are at around 80,000 units in the country. A regular FMCG company has an addressable outlet market of 8 million. That share needs to be narrowed down a little.
Totally. Right? I couldn't agree more with you, and that's an ongoing advocacy topic. And, it's progressing slowly but surely.
You are at a quarter, pun unintended, of the market right now in terms of volumes. Will you grow faster than the industry and gain market share from your immediate peers?
Mangalam, the last 1.5 years is showing that we are gaining momentum sequentially and we are performing extremely competitively. I don't believe there is a reason to slow down. We will continuously tap into consumer insight and we will grow our brands in a purposeful, meaningful way. And I think market share will be an outcome of that, right?
Would it irk you if I said that I'm a Mumbai Indians fan?
Yes, I think a little bit.
Would it irk you a little more if I said Mumbai Indians has won the championship 5 times and Royal Challengers hasn't?
Well, I'm not a very irkable person. So, yes, do we have an ambition that we should win the cup? For sure, Mangalam, right?
Have you picked up Kannada?
No.
Ee saal cup namde.
I think I can understand that. Yes, this year we will get it, right?
Would you at some point like to get in a strategic investor just to maybe unlock the sort of value and get people to ascribe that number to your overall SOTP?
Mangalam, at the moment we don't see that, right? I think we are able to pull out and unlock a lot of value ourselves. Mm-hmm. And at this stage, we don't need the money and we don't want to dilute this property that we've created and that personal, involvement and the fandom that we have, which is like, you're in the top 3 sports teams in the world on, social media engagement, right? So our team could command a lot of premium. We've not done the valuation because we are not interested in, any sort of monetization of the team.
It all starts from you. I have to salute you for, being who you are in a traditionally male-led industry. Was it tough?
Mangalam, I must say no. Right? Yeah. No, I must say no. Look, when I was coming in, I was like delighted at the amount, my phone, my social media, LinkedIn was abuzz with congratulations. I didn't even see one comment which said, like, why are we doing this? And for me, it was a perfect opportunity to role model, to, really be able to normalize this category. I think it's come quite far, but there is still some way to go, right? And I must say that I am already seeing the narrative shift from woman leader to business leader.
Yes.
And now we are getting, sort of snowballing impact, right? We have lots of women who come back and not only come into the industry, but say that, when my family asks me this question, I turn around and say, it's like any other consumer company and I'm making a huge impact. I love my job.
Does that reflect in your consumers as well? Would you have a split of what proportion of your consumers would be male, how much would be women, and how is that increasing? Would you have a sense?
I know it's on an increase. I can't say it's 50. This was a traditionally male-dominated industry, yes. Right? But now, just a small statistic, right? We have this digital platform called in.thebar.com. Yes. And it is a platform for social celebration, right? And just to give you 1 month statistics, 20,000 people in June, 33% were women. So it's not 50-50 yet. but it's a very fast-growing cohort.
You, I learned that are a big fan of old Hindi music. Is that true?
Yes.
Who's your favorite singer?
Well, Kishore Kumar I love, right? And I love Asha Bhosle. And actually, I can give anybody a run for money in Antakshari.
Can you?
Oh.
Would you like to hum a line for us? Something that...
Oh, no.
Come on, this is Antakshari. You spoke about it.
Okay. दिल चीज क्या है आप मेरी जान लीजिए बस एक बार मेरा कहा मान लीजिए.
Wow. Who would have thought? Hina, this could also be a request to the government.
How true can that be?
Well, if you were to sum up your career in 3 learnings, what would they be?
Be fearless, speak up, and don't hesitate to try the impossible.
And what have you learned from your old classmates? There's Raghuram Rajan, there's Harish Bhatt, there's Fanish Murthy, there's Nachiket Moore, all of them from the IIM batch of 87.
I think intellectual stimulation. I mean, these gentlemen are hugely intellectual, achieved a lot. So I really look up to these guys and say, okay, if they've managed to do so much and use their career to, make a difference, so can I. Yeah.
Well, I say that you're not good friends with someone smart until you can talk absolute nonsense with them.
That's true.
I'm sure that you guys have a lot of great fun, goofy conversations.
We do. By the way, when any of our IIM batchmates meet, you would cringe at the conversations. They are hardly intellectual. I mean, they are like, we are like young kids doing our, school stuff, right?
You learned the sitar and the piano.
Yeah.
Do you get time to practice?
Well, I have a sitar at home already, so that inspires me every day and says, okay, maybe. And maybe I will take lessons in both. I mean, I don't think I want to become the world's best, sitarist or pianist, right? So it's just for my own sort of joy.
Any unfulfilled grouse that you have across the board, that you believe that maybe, something, if this happens, then we'll be at a totally different trajectory from what we are right now?
Pricing unlock. I mean, what will unlock this industry, what will unlock our company is really tax harmonization and pricing unlock, right? And if we can get to a place with the governments where we have some inflation-linked formula for pricing, that will really unlock the industry.
Perhaps a new channel unlock, easy online delivery of alcohol, could that be?
Which absolutely, because in West Bengal, Odisha, we are seeing that those are the only 2 states where we are seeing, traction. Well, in West Bengal, I would say that that's the only state where, almost 10% of our revenue is coming through that. So clearly, the consumer is asking for convenience, but I do hope more state governments actually adopt this model, right?
And will the promoters look at some point increasing their stake in the company? They have around 55.9% as we speak. Look,
that's a question that I would leave to Deborah and the team to answer, right? I mean, is India important for Diageo globally? Absolutely. You can see that it is being called the decade of India, right? And I'm totally pleased with the level of commitment I see. I mean, the promoter shares, etc., is something that, the board can decide eventually.
If there was one quality of mine that you would take and one quality of yours that you would give to me, what would it be?
Oh my God. I think your knowledge and your preparedness, right? I really love the fact that you've got so many facts to share during the course of these questions and answers. I have kind of lost my habit of reading too much, so I'd love to take that back. So that's the quality I would take from you. If there's a quality I would give, well, drink moderately.
Thank you. This was a lovely conversation, Hina.
Thanks so much, Mangalam. So good to spend the time with you.
Always.